So November has been hailed as National Aviation History Month, which is looking at Americans' contributions and endeavors to the development of mechanical flight. So how do we get humans in the air? How do we get humans off the ground in a sustained, deliberate way? And this can stretch from the development of kites, which dates about 3 millennia ago, gliders, hot air balloons, to the Wright brothers' heavier-than-air pilot, all the way to supersonic, such as the F-35, or the space race and space flight with NASA and the development of Space Force. The historical origins of the 33rd Fighter Group can be traced to early World War II, when the first 33rd Pursuit Group and then ultimately the 33rd Fighter Group was activated and sent to initially the Mediterranean theater as part of Operation Torch, again to liberate German-occupied French North Africa. Over the next 3 years, the 33rd would be stationed at 21 locations across 3 continents, which is how we earned our nickname, the Nomads. Following the end of World War II, in 1947, as part of the newly independent United States Air Force, completely separate from the Army, the 33rd Fighter Wing is activated in November. And from there, initially we're part of Strategic Air Command. We only make it about 5 years, and we are deactivated in 1952, again without serving in Korea. However, as the conflict in Vietnam starts to ramp up, in 1965 we are reactivated as the 33rd Tactical Fighter Wing, stationed at Eglin, where we have remained. And again, this is flying that F-4. The 33rd acquits itself very, very well across the Vietnam conflict, deploying multiple times both as a wing, as units. After Vietnam, in 1979, again, we switched to the F-15. During the 1980s, we participate in several Cold War operations in Latin and South America. And then in the early 90s, we are active in Desert Storm and Desert Shield. In Desert Storm, we flew the highest number of sortie hours, for any F-15 unit, and we had the highest number of confirmed victories of any unit. We also, I believe, had the highest number of any pilots with multiple victories. Following Desert Storm and to enforce Iraqi no-fly zones, we then take part in Operation Southern Watch. Unfortunately, it's during one of those deployments that the 33rd Fighter Wing lost 12 members who were killed due to terrorist attacks on Khobar Towers in Saudi Arabia in June of 1986. Following the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the 33rd was heavily involved in Operation Noble Eagle, responsible with flying protection units for 2 different United States presidents, due to our location in Florida, several rocket launches, as well as various other necessities. And during this time, members were deploying for both Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. In 2009, we transitioned from Air Combat Command to Air Education and Training Command, which is when you saw the F-15 depart, and the 2011 arrival of the F-35, where we are tasked with training pilots across the United States Armed Forces as well as from other allied armed forces in the F-35 Lightning. With November being National Aviation History Month, both for the wing and for the development of aviation history in general, there are several important things that have occurred within the month of November. In 1921, the first successful air-to-air refueling actually occurs. But it looked very different to how the F-35 air-to-air refueling works, as in this case, an American walked across the wing of his plane in flight to the wing of the other plane in flight with a can of gasoline strapped to his back. And that is the origins of air-to-air refueling. And then, as previously mentioned, for the wing in November saw the start of the 33rd Fighter Group's first World War II deployment with Operation Torch and our activation in 1947 as a brand new independent Air Force fighter wing.